Let's go. Hey, happy Thursday. It's just me tonight. Jeff is doing family stuff. We're going to give him a pass if you guys think so. We'll jump right in. First of all, chat, let me know that my audio is good. Let me know that we sound good. We sound okay. I think we do. Avrian Pauley, I talked to him just a little while ago. He should be joining us here in about 15 minutes, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Happy you're in here tonight, especially some of our members, our longtime guests. Let's go straight to the comments. I want to see who was here first, and no surprise. Oh, Nick, congratulations, man. Roll Tide, Nick. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're going to talk to him here in a little bit, pending something crazy happening. So he should hop in here in a little while, and we'll have him ready to go for you. So looking forward to talking to him, picking his brain a little bit. J-Bake, what's going on, man? Roll Tide. Lance, you're never going to be first. Ever. Not if I can help it. I'm just kidding. Lance, I do like your next comment. I'm going to save that for later. We'll use it. Willie, what's going on, buddy? Roll Tide. Hope you're doing well out there in Newman, Georgia. C-Dub, Roll Tide, man. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. It's a good try, though. Very good try. So how's everybody doing, man? It's a crazy week. Absolutely bonkers around these parts. Let me tell you guys, we are fighting YouTube again. If you remember, we ended up doing this last year around this time. YouTube likes to kind of, once you have a really big month of growth, they like to kind of slaughter your content for some reason. So really relying heavily on you guys to like, share, comment, do all of those things, especially uploads and shorts. When you guys comment, it kind of helps the algorithm pick up the content and carry it to new faces. So you guys, please continue to be helpful. We appreciate all of you. Dale Oates, what's going on, brother? I saw that image you put in the group chat earlier, man. I ignored it because we got to get you squared away, man. That's rough. Oh, Alex, got a way offsides member in here. Alex, I got a surprise for you later, so make sure you stick around. Don't go anywhere. Hope you're doing well. J-Bank knows exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, so we're just going to kill some time and talk about basically whatever you guys want to talk about while we wait for Avery, and he should be joining us. I told him about 8:15, so should be. We're going to talk about that. So he's actually kind of a newer name that's popping onto the trail. He's had some guys find him, currently kind of going through evaluations. Plays defensive line, 6'5", 265-pound kid out of Mobile, Alabama, McGill Toolin. Doesn't have a legitimate ranking, but the offers are pouring in big time for him. We'll talk more about that with him when he hops on in a little bit. Jeff is not released. Jeff is detained. He is not allowed back. He did some bad stuff, y'all. Did some bad stuff. Hey, Roll Tide. I know you. Roll Tide. Got my drink here. Thank you. All right. I hope everybody's going. Some really cool news this week. I know some people are not excited about Owens being named the new tight end coach, but I'll tell you, first and foremost, there is 1,000% chance at some point in time I'm going to call him Randy Owens. So just prepare yourself for that. Just ignore it when it happens. It's going to happen. I did a full video talking about this guy, and I'm actually, dude, I think it's a pretty good hire. I really do. Chad, I want to hear your thoughts on him. The old Louisiana coach, UAB coach, Georgia Southern coach, South Alabama coach. Where else? I'm sure I'm missing somewhere. The guy's been all over the place. So, audio's muffled. Oh, of course it is. Couldn't just be easy tonight, could it? How's the audio, folks? Good, bad, ugly? These things are crazy. No, not on the toilet. You guys are ridiculous. Chris, what's going on? Roll Tide, man. It's good to see you. Chat, let me know how the audio is before we get started. If you're watching this after the fact, well, it's a live stream. There's going to be audio issues, okay? So Nick said he's good. Audio's good. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you. Oh, that I know why. Hold on. I know exactly why that is. Let's see if I can get that fixed. Give me a second. How's that? Is that better? Better? Worse? Thank you, Richie. Hope you're doing well. It's 100% your fault. It sounds like echoes at time. Yeah. Some of it's StreamYard, guys. I've been recording our regular videos on OBS because StreamYard is giving us a lot of problems. Probably going to bounce from StreamYard here pretty soon. It doesn't matter what we do with equipment. We've got nice cameras, nice mics, and StreamYard's just giving us a little bit of problem. All right, let's try to... Is that better, though? Yeah, it's a Shure mic, agent. A little bit of reverb. Hey, thank you, Kayla. Appreciate you. So how are you guys feeling about Owens? Good, bad, ugly? What are your thoughts there? Let's hear what you have to say, and then I'll tell you mine. I'll probably talk a little bit about that after Pauley comes on. Then we're going to talk some recruiting. I know you guys really enjoy talking recruiting, so we'll do all of that. Yeah, we've got about an hour, so thank you. Okay, noted. I think you might be right. Let's try that. See if that's a little bit better. Some of it might be because I'm using my headphones and I don't know. It's a pain in the butt. So you talking about on campus? Absolutely. Indifferent. Explain. I want to hear more. Why do you feel indifferent? Like, I went back and looked at this guy, and I'll say historically, he shows some pretty good progress in terms of everywhere he's been. I like the fact that he's multifaceted. He's got a lot of experience. He's been an offensive line coach, an offensive coordinator, run game coordinator, tight ends, wide receiving coach. He's basically done all the things. And I think this is kind of the answer to our question about Alabama bringing in a second O-line guy. I think he'll be able to help out with that a little bit. But his offensive lines, at least what I've looked at, he's produced a few All-Americans at Louisville, or maybe all ACC, not All-Americans. I apologize. But, what I really liked is you look and they utilize his tight ends pretty well. I think he had one season where I think 30% somewhere in there of the catches were via tight ends. So I like him, man. I think he's going to be a good fit. If we were talking about OC or something, maybe panic, but I think he's going to be all right. I think he's going to be just fine. You guys always say that about positional coaches. Anything's an upgrade. Nobody liked Coach Cap. Why? I agree. And here's the thing, man. It's another tip of the hat that Alabama staff understands their situation, right? And I think we gotta talk about that. They understand that there is a lack of physicality on this team, a big lack of physicality in 2025. And that's what fans are talking about. All the fans who are calling them soft and, voicing frustrations that way, basically what they're saying is they're not physical enough. And that's not wrong. And I think this guy potentially could be another piece of that puzzle, along with a guy like Clem that comes in and kind of reestablishes a new culture. I think there's a culture shift happening with this staff, and I think it's a good thing. I got to see it first on the field before I get super hype about it, but I do think just they're doing what needs to be done to kind of right this ship. I've heard Ryan Grubb talk about it since the Rose Bowl game, that they've got to be more physical, especially along the offensive line in the running game. Wide receivers need to be more physical when it comes to blocking, so do tight ends. You bring in Adrian Clem, Derek Nix, and now Owens. All three of them should be excellent recruiters. So I like it. I like the hire. Oh, he's a defensive lineman, man. Defensive lineman. So we're just waiting, passing the time. There we go. Hold on. There we go. As a Patriots fan, I can come and tell you guys the truth. Coach Calf left Bama just to coach the Patriots O-line of the Super Bowl. My goodness, that was atrocious. Brother, that was probably one of the worst Super Bowls I've seen in a while, man. Really bad. Really, really bad. Drake May, God bless him. He was struggling out there. Great point, Lance. Great point. I'll tell you what, while we're waiting on Pauley, I've got a surprise for you. So we're going to go ahead and do our viewer of the week because it's much deserved. So I'm going to give hats off to Jammer Alex this week. You win viewer of the week. Been noticing you up under the comment sections being super active on uploads and shorts. Just wanted to say thank you, man. We appreciate the support. It's been rough this past week. It's been really, really rough. I don't know if you guys look at subscriber counts, but golly, man, we can't stay in the plus this week because of YouTube. But on the other hand, I want to give a big shout out to our certified ball knower of the week, and this goes out to our way offsides member of the week, and that is Nicholas Harden. Nicholas is always he was first today. He's always under comment section supporting the channel. Doing great stuff. So thank you to both of you. We appreciate that you're along for the ride. And a big old roll tide, man. Lance, behave. Behave. Oh, we got a super chat. Let's see what we got. Gelato. Let me get to it, buddy. Gelato, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Not physical enough. I don't remember the old line holding anybody. That's a good point. No, yeah, they definitely didn't. But no, I mean, they definitely weren't physical enough. And it wasn't just the O-line, if we're being fair. I think it was kind of a team thing, and you can blame that on the head coach. Ultimately, that falls on the head coach. But I got to say, I do feel confident that Kalen DeBoer is at least trying to fix it. If it gets fixed, great. If not, the fan base that's left is gonna turn on them pretty quick. So, but yeah, physical enough? No, definitely not. And I think Ryan Grubb and maybe Kalen DeBoer are having to learn now that yes, they can kind of finesse people if they want to, right? You can still do that. However, if you want to win national titles, you got to be physical in the trenches. It doesn't matter what conference you're from. It doesn't matter what your lineages in college football. If you want to win a natty, you got to be physical in the trenches. It doesn't matter what kind of offense you've got, what kind of defense you run. That has to be the priority. And I think they're starting to figure it out. So I hope. Fingers crossed. All right, let's go back to these comments. You guys are absolutely lighting it up tonight. I can't keep up. Keep in mind, it's just me tonight, guys. So, which short? What did I do, Agent? Which one are you talking about? Popping them up, man. I'll be putting them things up, man. Congratulations, man. You deserve it, sir. And we'll have new winners next week. So if you want to win, you know what to do. All right, let me check and see if we've gotten any like cancellation text messages or anything. Fingers crossed we have not. No, we haven't. So all looks good. So any minute now, he should be popping in here. Fire Sankey. What do you guys think about Trinidad Chambliss, man? Pulling a Charles Bediako. How do you feel about that? Yeah, as long as you don't send any more gifts like you did earlier in the group chat, please. Okay, that was a lot, man. I'm scarred for life. I just opened up my phone, man, just at a stoplight, and boom, right in my face. Absolutely crazy. Oh, it's funny. Lance, yeah, you sure can. Oh, did he? I didn't see it yet. Dang. Well, it was good while it lasted. How many hours did I sleep when the portal opened? Oh man, not a lot. I was up late. I'm already a night owl. I usually stay up late, at least till midnight or something like that. But golly, dude, that portal period is rough. You're up probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock getting after it because you just don't know when news is going to break, and it seems like it always breaks at the most inopportune time. You're driving 6 hours somewhere or something like that. That's why you see me sometimes. I'll be in a car and I'm like, screw it, I'm making a short. That I gotta let them know. You know what I mean? So we absolutely are. He's already committed, Nick. Did you watch the interview we did with him a couple of weeks ago on the channel? If not, be sure to go check it out when you're done here, man. Okay. It's pretty good. Trent Seaborn, he's also he's heavily recruiting. He's under Manchin sales stuff today, just recruiting him for us. But Trent is a very impressive young man. That was one of my favorite interviews we've ever did. Talked about his faith, his family, talked about his kind of the legacy he wants to leave at Alabama as well. He talked about his relationship with the Tagovailoa family, which was pretty interesting. He has a pretty intimate relationship with them. Talked about what Tua's kind of how he's mentored him, stuff like that. So yeah, man, really good interview. You guys should go check it out on the channel when you're done. No, they weren't. They absolutely weren't. As I promised, we're going to get to the football talk. If you are watching this after the live, you can just jump forward. Yeah, so we're just kind of waiting. Good. I think you're right, Richie. He absolutely did. 100%, man, without a doubt. So. We're just waiting. You should, dude. You should. It's all fun and games until LeBron James comes back. He's got nothing else going on. What's up, Steven? How you doing? Steven's one of our longtime Way Off Size members. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. For those of you just popping in, we're waiting on Alabama recruiting target Avrian Pauley. He's going to join us live any minute now. He's running a little bit late. Still haven't heard from him, but should be in here soon. So just be patient. We're working on their schedule. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. don't really know what to do if he stands me up. Never had a recruit stand us up. So we'll give him to like, 8:30. And if he's not in, we'll just move on and start talking recruiting and other stuff. But do I have any eligibility left? I can't say eligibility for some reason. I have to slow it down. I think my tongue's too fat. You got no, I don't. And if I did, I'd get broken in half. I am too old and too out of shape for that, man. I had a cardiology appointment this morning, guys. No football for me. You have to be, Lance. You have to be, okay? Seriously, like you guys are already acting up in the chat, agents spelling out words for me. You guys are ridiculous tonight, okay? Absolutely ridiculous. Oh man. I tell you what, Lance has got a hot take. So let's do a hot take segment while we wait. All right. Good stuff. All right, Lance, I'm bringing up your hot take. So Lance says for tonight's What's on Lance's Mind segment, i.e. the Way Offside's hot take segment, enough of people trying to get the band back together. Egos are too big to allow Saban, guys. Move on. It's over. Not happening. I agree to an extent, man. I absolutely agree with this to an extent. I think everybody wants Saban disciples all over this team. And I get that. And when Alabama goes and gets an Adrian Clem or a Richard Owens, and you maybe don't know who they are, you've never heard the name before, it's not as exciting. And I completely understand that. And I respect that train of thought. But at the same time, at some point in time, you got to move on to the next thing, right? Or else you are going to get left behind. And how many Saban disciples out there outside of Signetti this year? Obviously, Kirby Smart. How many of them are out there actually competing for national titles? All right. Anybody? So let this staff build what they want to build, man, and then just support them. I agree with you, Lance. I agree with you. You guys are ridiculous. I can't put your comment on the screen, but yeah, there you go, Dale. Literally Kirby and Kurt. So. All right, we're going to give Avrian about 10 more minutes, and then we're just going to move on with the show, and I'll reach back out to him, kind of see what happens. So, could potentially be something popped up. Who knows? It happens. Like I said, I don't really know what to do. This first time, if he doesn't show, it's the first time that's ever happened on the show. So, but there are other recruit interviews on the channel you can go watch, and then we'll start working on some new ones. Send out a message to Elijah Haven and KJ Green. Couple of other people. So we'll have some more coming up. Let's see. Richie says, I don't necessarily want Saban disciples, but I want consistent effort and some toughness. Sure. I agree with you. And I think the toughness part, you're going to get it out of Adrian Clem. I'll say this. I listened to AJ McCarron's comments on Clem, and Clem kind of comes off as like a no BS kind of guy. It's get in, go to work, do your daggum job. And get better. And he is not going to beat around the bush. He's going to tell you, if you suck, he's going to tell you suck. If you're the guy, he's going to tell you you're the guy. And so I like that, man. I think that will breed that toughness that folks are kind of yearning for in Alabama, because it has been rough, dude. There is trying to think of how to say this, but there is kind of a drop off in terms of physicality and mindset. And it's hard because you do watch other teams have it, that still have it and still possess it. And I think it's changing because you guys, as time goes on, we're dealing with a new generation of athlete, right? A lot of different people. And so it just makes me wonder if we'll ever get back to a point long term where Alabama can sustain that under this staff. That remains to be seen. But I do think that they are making the right choices to fix it right now. So you're absolutely right. All right. Hey, J-Bait, can you take care of that one comment, man? Need it gone. It's gonna cause some problems. Appreciate you. So Jeff keeps linking us to Twitch. Like people watch this on Twitch. I don't. Jeff, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? All right. Another hot take from Dale Oates. Let's bring it up. It better not be something crazy because I didn't pre-read it. Hot take: Saban would have done the same as what Kalen has done, maybe one game better. If Saban was still here. I love coaching Nick Saban, but it felt like his teams were sliding back after 2021. Yeah, we've kind of brought that up a little bit. I can see why you're saying that. Where were they sliding though? They were sliding in terms of physicality along the offensive line. Alabama, they still had a couple of guys on the defensive line, but the trenches were getting weaker. And some of that was coaching. Some of it, I think, could be strength and conditioning. We'll do a video about that next week. But yeah, Alabama started to struggle along the offensive line, even while Nick Saban was still there. And it was very apparent. It was extremely apparent. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the fact that, Alabama in today's age, even under Nick Saban, may not have been successful because he wouldn't have been able to keep the depth. I think they lost every wide receiver from their 2022 recruiting class to the transfer portal at some point in time. There were very few of them left when Nick Saban retired, if any at all, and they lost them all. So he was dealing with this kind of stuff too. And at his age, I can't blame him for saying I'm done with it and hanging it up. Really can't. Business oriented, I like it. And Nick, I think that's what was so upsetting to people about the Rose Bowl is because that's what you saw. And you didn't just see Alabama getting pushed around. At a certain point, you saw Alabama throw in the white towel and just say, I'm done. And they gave up. And that was really, really hard for people to accept and swallow and digest. It was hard for me to digest for a couple of days. Look, I try to keep a balance between being too negative and too positive. It's almost impossible sometimes with viewers. But I was pretty pissed off about that game because you really did see that Alabama team give up. And I haven't seen that in a long, long time. And it was disheartening. It was upsetting. And so how do they fix it? Well, they have to instill toughness back into the team. It's possible. I don't know for sure, but it's possible. We know, Lance. Stop. I'm just playing, man. So. Oh, I absolutely did too, Lance. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They did to Alabama what Alabama used to do, and it was really upsetting. Like I said, it was hard for fans to see it, especially fans that have jumped on being Alabama fans during the Nick Saban era. Bama fans before that, kind of, we've seen that before. But guys that were jumping on when Alabama was at its peak and riding that high, well, the Rose Bowl was a sober reminder that, college football is changing and Alabama too is very mortal. But again, it all comes down to not. It all comes down to physicality, in my opinion. And I think that starts as a mindset. I think it starts up here. It is the head coach's job to instill that mindset into his team. And again, my final point being, I think that I shouldn't say I think, I hope. My hope is that with some of these offseason coaching moves that we've seen, Kalen DeBoer and the staff is figuring out that, the way they're kind of handling it is not working. So, are you guys arguing over scores in the chat? Wow. Bunch of children. All right. I don't think Avrian's going to show up. I don't know really what happened. I'll reach out to him and find out. I apologize, guys. Don't really have control over that, but stuff happens. So we'll move on. I do have some stuff brought up that we can talk about. We're going to bring up some recruiting. I know you guys love talking Alabama recruiting, and we're right in the thick of this thing, man. Absolutely right in the thick of this. A couple of names here. I'll go ahead and give you the key here. Now, this is not everybody. I made this a few days ago. There's still a ton of names that need to be added, that need to be updated, but it's schedule season. What I mean by that is Alabama is in the process of scheduling official visits, and they've got a host of them. You got some coming for A-Day. You've got some coming already scheduling summer visits. Summer is where this thing really kicks up. It's a lot of fun here with us. So if you're new here, be sure you're subscribed and locked in. We actually have a lot of fun. Those of you who did the recruiting cycle with us last year can attest to that. A couple of names that I think Alabama's sitting in good position for right now with this list. The A next to their name means that they are a hard commit as of right now. That is fluid. It can change, and it often does change. But a couple of names very quickly. Maxwell Hiller is one that I am watching very, very closely, 5-star interior offensive lineman. I believe he named his final schools, and Alabama was in the mix. I'm going to bring that up here. I'll leave this up on the screen just for a few minutes, guys, so you guys could. Yeah, 4 final schools are Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio State. Alabama's making a pretty good push for them. Florida as well is in there. We'll see what's going to happen, but Hiller is a guy that probably could be a day one starter. We'll see. We'll see how Alabama finishes there. Another 2 names you guys recognize, Monshon Sales and Elijah Haven. 5-star wide receiver, 5-star quarterback. Alabama, for Elijah Haven, is the predicted school via most recruiting outlets right now to land the number 1 quarterback in the class. Monshon Sales just posted a picture of his Alabama bedroom. Take that for what it's worth. Doesn't always mean everything, but Indiana's pushing for him really hard right now as well. Nigel Newkirk is a very interesting name, 3-star running back. I know, don't get hung up on the star ratings, folks. But Nigel Newkirk is his name is spelled incorrectly on the graphic. I'll fix that later. But he's out at Gainesville High School. If you're not familiar with Gainesville, the Red Elephants, that is where Xavier Griffin played. That's where Jameer Matthews played. So they are definitely recruiting him very, very hard. And of course, Trent Seaburn. You guys all know Trent. You love Trent. We did the interview with him. And on the other side, we do have Avrian Pauley Jr. He is not ranked as of yet. He will be before it's all done. Defensive lineman, can play edge. We'll see how he looks. I wanted to get him on here really bad, but like I said, I'm assuming something popped up. Usually recruits are pretty timely. So, a couple other names on this list. John Meredith III, Alabama's pushing pretty hard. 5-star cornerbacks, number 1 cornerback in the class. Xavier Sabb's going to be very, very interesting, obviously, with his 2 older brothers and now playing at Alabama. Want to keep an eye on him. And then, again, this list is not exhaustive. There's a ton of guys all over the landscape who are scheduling official visits. They're adding new ones every day. Alabama's doing some heavy work right now, doing a lot of heavy lifting. So definitely it's a fluid situation, constantly changing, one that you definitely want to keep track of. And we'll do our job. We'll do the best we can to kind of keep track of it. But I want to tip my hat to guys like Andrew Bone, Justin Smith at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. He came on with us last summer. Brett Greenberg at 247. Those dudes, man, they do great work, fantastic work. So it's kind of cool to be able to pull it all together and put it in one place. So just kudos to all of those folks. So, I really do like what Alabama's doing in terms of their recruiting style. I think Alabama obviously understands that in the NIL era, they're not going to be able to compete with everybody. And understanding your limitations is very, very important. It's very important because you don't set yourself up for failure constantly, like a lot of people do. And it's not just football. It's as important in every walk of life. Little wisdom for you from Uncle Cotton. But understanding your limitations is important. And Alabama understands that they're not going to be able to compete with some schools in terms of NIL. Doesn't mean that they're not going to take a swing, but this is what we mean by Alabama's not going to get in any bidding wars. So the high school approach is good. Now, I know, I understand a lot of you are kind of, your worry is that Alabama could potentially become a farm system school, right? Guys commit out of high school, they sign with Alabama, get developed a little bit, and then bounce somewhere else. I think the Tide is trying really hard to build a culture that kids don't want to leave once they get in place. I think it's working so far. We'll see what the transfer portal cycle looks like when it opens up again. But I think talking to the recruits, everybody we've talked to, they're pretty adamant that the culture is really a big part of what they're buying into. Their families say the same thing. I know we bring up the Xavier Griffin interview all the time that you guys probably watched several times. Hopefully, go watch it again. But Jay Clay, his mom on the channel with us, is discussing it just feels like home and the place for her son to be, and she felt comfortable. I think it was Jordan Edmonds' mom has kind of said some of the same things. So I really do think they're working to build a culture that kids don't want to leave, and I think it's going to work in their favor. You're going to lose some guys at some point, but I really do still think the high school approach is going to work as long as it's supplemented with the transfer portal, which Alabama's done. I think they're going to have to do a better job moving forward of retention when the portal opens, but just kind of is what it is, Hey, there she, speak of her, and she will appear. She said, I'm telling you, Bama is different, but a great different. Xavier made a great choice. I miss him, but I know he is in great hands. We're sure he is too. Jay, I hope that you're doing well. Hope you're blessed. I'm sure you are. Hope that Xavier is doing fine. Tell him we're thinking about him and praying for him. Definitely, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So thank you for just opportune timing. But yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, is the culture there at Alabama. It's something that they are selling very, very heavily. And I don't think it's just, it's a selling point that is something they're just fabricating to sell to recruits. I really think it's real. Something I noticed with Xavier's recruitment, Alabama did a really good job of getting all these kids, these commitments, along with uncommitted recruits on campus at the same time during the season for games. And you could see it, man. It was almost like they were already brothers. Like it was almost like they'd already been forged together through whatever bond. And it was really cool to see. You could just watch it from the outside in, and you could almost feel it. And so I think they're going to take that approach moving forward. And so it'll be great, man. You guys talking about all sorts of stuff in here. Dale says he hopes you're doing good. You're very, very welcome. Oh yeah, he did. he sure did, Jay, mate. Look, the offense just needs to run the ball a little bit. That's kind of what's cool about this is, I was sitting last night kind of going over some numbers from the 2025 season. And I said it in a bunch of videos. If you guys aren't watching the uploads, please do. But I say it in a lot of them when we talk about the offensive line of the run game. I really do think Alabama was a run game away from probably competing for a national title in 2025. And that sounds like a hot take. It sounds like a lofty statement. But when you really look at what they did and what held them back, it was the offensive line in the run game. So if they're able to take some of that pressure off of Ty Simpson, the defense was dang sure good enough to win a national title. The pass rush could have absolutely been better. They did have some sketchiness when it came to stopping big runs, at times, but ultimately the defense did a well enough job to win a national title. It really came down to the run game and the offensive line, which I really do think that if Alabama and they didn't have to run the ball for 200 yards a game. If they could have consistently run for 120, 130 a game, that would have taken some of the pressure off of Ty Simpson and some of these wide receivers. And I think we're having a different conversation right now, to be honest with you. Baseball. There we go. The chemistry off the field has been amazing, which will lead to even greater on the field chemistry. Agree with you 100%. 100%. I don't know that they're going to do that, man. They have so many guys who kind of have that or should have that cut that you're looking for. I think they might want to keep Daniel Hill at his size. I will say laterally, he's pretty slow. I noticed that he's not going to be the guy to make open field cuts and stuff like that. But do you want him to remain the same size so he can kind of be that situational guy? Maybe that guy you bring in late in the third quarter or early in the fourth quarter and kind of try to put a game away. I feel like he's a good change of pace back for sure. But I got to tell you guys, talking to running backs, I'm happy you brought that up, Lance. Man, I went back and watched some film on EJ Crowell today. And I've watched it before. I did a video. There's a video coming out, I think, tomorrow that you guys can watch. And I did a short. But I was very wrong about this kid. I knew he was good. But I made a comment saying that I thought because of his youth, and this still kind of stands true, because of his youth, there was the potential that he wasn't going to be the starting running back at Alabama next year, or he wasn't going to get a significant amount of playing time. Because when I asked about running backs, everybody's just bringing up Crowell for good reason, for very good reason. This kid is legit, man. This is not a surprise. Like, we all know this, but I don't know. I just kind of dove back into it. I haven't watched him in a while. There's a reason he won Mr. Football. There's a reason. I mean, he had over 300 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns in the state championship game. This kid is going to be legit. And I agree. Ryan Grubb came out a few days ago, did an interview, and was discussing him and CD Morgan and their mature mentality. And he's basically said it won't take them long to see the field. And I don't think that Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb are going to have a problem playing a true freshman if it puts them in the best position to win. We've seen them do that in several other positions. And a guy like Crowell, even if he's not going to get significant playing time, he's going to come in and push the rest of that room, hopefully, to be better. And so, I'm really excited about that addition. I think that was a fantastic get for this squad. And I am very much looking forward to them. There we go. Jay's on it. She knows what's up. I can't keep up with you. See, this is why I need Jeff, man. So, again, if you're watching this, you're just popping in, I apologize. Avrian was not able to make it. Not really sure what happened. I'll reach out to him later to kind of figure it out. I'm sure he's busy living that high school life. No telling what he's getting into. So, we'll get back with him and try to reschedule, and should be fine. I'll let you guys know as soon as it happens. But I will probably I'll change the thumbnail on this video when the live's over, just so I don't want people clicking on it in a couple of weeks thinking it's an interview and it's not. So if you come back to rewatch, I know Lance got to chill, bro. I think we're going to be very young, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Spoiler alert, I finally did a video kind of breaking down the quarterback battle between Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. That'll drop on Saturday. I'll be out of town the next couple of days, so everything you're going to see over the weekend will be pre-recorded. But I discussed the idea of, if it's a close battle between Mack and Russell, do you go with Russell so that you start kind of giving him the command of the offense and really start looking at 2027? And I think this team has the potential to be good in 2026. Obviously, again, a lot of question marks, but 2027 is going to be a year we really, really, really want to kind of lock in with Alabama, I think. Hey, look, he's in Central Time Zone, J-Bait. Yeah, I hope, man. I hope. So, Jeff is still locked up. Yeah, baseball opens up tomorrow, guys. Fantastic. Spring's almost here. Starting to warm up. It's nice and warm down here. Really nice, actually. He's in Alabama. He's in Mobile. And so, and I specified it was the show time was Central Time. So This ain't my first rodeo, JP. No, I agree with you. I kind of agree with you, and that's not a shot at. It's not a shot at Austin Mack at all. I think Mack could. He's fine. I think Alabama could win with Austin Mack, but I agree if we're looking at longevity, continuity, sustainability. If it's close, you go with Russell, man. Absolutely go with him. You're good, JV. You're all good. Oh, anybody else got any hot takes? I'll play the video one more time for you. If you're new here, please go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Not a very big audience tonight. Like I said, YouTube is whatever, man. I'll be honest, I don't know at this point. Seems like YouTube's mad at every Alabama content creator that doesn't have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Happened about a week ago. It's not just me, it's everybody. I talked to Clint about it yesterday. They're having some issues with it. So you guys, make sure you're supporting your favorite content creators right now. Times is hard. Times is very, very hard. It's hard you go from having a video that's got 6,000-7,000 views, and then all of a sudden you're only getting like 200. It's weird. So and you don't change anything. It just kind of happens overnight. It's really strange. So you believe Mac wins the job? He very well can. I don't want to get too far in the weeds of it because I put some pretty good work into a video today, which I'm starting to edit videos a lot more. You guys will love that. But I don't want to get too far into it. But I absolutely could see him winning the job just because you're kind of talking about comfortability and a sure thing over unproven explosiveness. Not to say that Austin Mack is proven, but he's been in that system for such a long time. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. Quinn. Yeah. Oh, Quinn, man. I'm excited for him too, dude. I literally was talking about him in a video today too. I did a bunch of videos today. All right, quick question. Hopefully it's a good one. I know we've never touched on this, but thoughts on having this stack of QBs in the room. I love Kalen, but I don't want to lose Jet. But then you got Trent, potentially Haven. Yeah, I mean, history tells us that we're probably going to lose somebody at some point in time. Don't forget Taden Kawa. I would guess he would likely be the first one. Now, we kind of brought that up. We didn't shy away from that question when we did an interview with Jet Tamala a few months ago. And we asked him, dude, this room's stacked. You're going to have to compete to see the field. Why Bama? You could go somewhere else and maybe start immediately. Why Alabama? And his response was that he wants to be somewhere where he's going to get pushed by other players every day to get better. So I don't know how concerned I am about losing Jet. It's tough. Yeah, but I feel like you're probably going to lose somebody at some point in time. I wouldn't include Elijah in that yet. We'll see. There's other schools pushing for him really hard. Florida's pushing for him really hard, I think, still. So we'll see if he ends up committing and signing with Alabama. But in terms of the guys that we have, you got to think if Austin Mack doesn't win the job this year, he's gone. I don't think Keelan leaves because even if Austin Mack wins a starting job ultimately in 2026, you would have to imagine that he's probably gone after that year if he has a good year. So it's going to be Keelan's show no matter what moving forward into 2027, hopefully. And then, yeah, I don't know, man. You get a good year out of Keelan, he would be draft eligible. And then you got Jet. You're kind of in the same boat, right? With Elijah or Trent. So that's the way it would work in my mind. No, I agree, Agent. I think you're absolutely right. And that's okay. Alabama's one thing Alabama's not hurting for right now, and that's quarterbacks, man. Their room looks really, really good for years to come if the retention is there. That's a big thing Courtney Morgan's pushing is retention of guys that are playing. I think there were some guys, ideally, who they kind of were, I don't want to say they told them to kick rocks, but basically were like, you're not producing what you're asking for. So see you somewhere else. Tobias, how you going, man? says, have you guys noticed that the portal has ended competition at many schools? It's refreshing that Alabama has competition at many places. They do. I think some of that is going to be because of Alabama's youth. The portal actually, I think, in a way, has kind of opened the door for that competition at Alabama this year, which is very, very cool. It's very interesting. And I think that's what I'm most excited about this spring with this new recruiting class, because there's some dudes in there that are going to push. And they're going to push hard. They're going to come in and they're going to push people to be to play better. If they want a starting spot, Sedarian Morgan's one I could think of right at the top of my head. Obviously, Jair Edwards coming in, Jordan Edmonds. So yeah, there is a lot of competition. But again, I think some of that is because of the transfer portal, as opposed of not because of it, because you lost so many guys. Alabama's offensive line is going to be very, very young this year. But I have faith that it might be better because the competition is going to allow the cream to kind of rise to the top. You know what I mean? I really like Keon. I think he'll stay. And that leaves us with Jet and Trent. Love all these guys, but I really feel like Jet is special. He's a guy others talk down on because of the schools. Jet is a gunslinger, man. That's the other thing about Jet is he the right fit moving forward for this offense? I don't necessarily know. Not to say he doesn't have legs and he can't use them, but I would imagine that Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb want a guy who's at least semi-mobile and poses a threat with their legs. I don't know that Jet has that, but he is a gunslinger. But he's also done it at very small schools, so that jump up into this level is going to be very big for him. Again, man, after talking with him, I don't think he's a kid that's going to shy away from it at all. And I think he will push both Russell and Mac to play better. To Tobias's point, competition. Do I think we'll get Xavier Sav? I hope so. I think Alabama's in a good position. It's going to all boil down to, does Sav want to follow in brother's footsteps, or does he want to go somewhere else? Or, is his recruitment going to be NIL motivated? Is Alabama willing to pay him what other schools are going to pay? There's a lot of variables that go into considering that question. But off the top of my head, I would have to say yes, right? I think so. There's a little bit of fan in me in that answer, but I would have to say yes, just because he's got two brothers playing wearing crimson already. And there's a need for him, man. There's a big need for him. He would be an immediate starter at Alabama if he commits. Thank you, Agent, for answering the question for me. We all do. Look, Keelan is different, man. I went back a couple days ago and was kind of looking at him, some of the snaps he got last year and in high school. Keelan Russell is absolutely a different dude, man. The way the ball leaves his hand, very good decision making. I can't remember what game it was, but he had that one touchdown throw. That it might have been WKU, but it was gorgeous. It was one of the prettiest things I've seen in a long time, and he looks like the tall love child of Tua Bryce Young. He's got both of their best attributes. So that was weird, huh? But I'd rather take Alabama's route at QB than throwing a bag at a mediocre QB in the portal. Yeah, because it's a gamble, dude. It's risky, right? Alabama's risk is you bring a guy in and he might leave at some point, or he could get injured. A lot of other things. But the risk in what you're talking about in, let's say, the Miami model, because Miami is showing a trend of let's just go to the portal and get a quarterback. I think Ole Miss did the same thing with Lane Kiffin. Probably going to do the same thing at LSU. There's a risk to that. If Mensah shows up, sure, he had great numbers at Duke, but if he shows up at Miami and stinks, you're screwed, right? Miami overlooked something that most SEC fans noticed with Carson Beck, and it was that in big games, he's going to screw you. They lost to Louisville absolutely because of Carson Beck. Lost the national championship absolutely because of Carson Beck. Miami took a gamble, and they got close, but they lost, man. St. Horseshoes. Doesn't count. Yeah, send it to me, Dale. That'd be cool, man. Yeah, Louisiana Monroe. Sorry, I think I said Western Kentucky. But yeah, it absolutely was Louisiana Monroe. You're right. It, is it though, man? I mean, they got to a national title, and sure, man, that's awesome. That's great, but they still haven't won one, right? Like, let's see. Again, it's a small sample size you're working with there. They had some success with it in Carson Beck this year. Let's see what it looks like with Mensa in 2026 before we start saying, okay, all right, this is the way to go. Like, that's my thing with it, man. Is there's no large sample size that says going and getting a transfer quarterback is the way to win a national title anymore. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but and maybe I'm just a traditionalist and I'm old. I don't know, but I do still like the idea of going and getting your quarterbacks out of high school, working with them, developing a relationship with them, having them buy into your system. Because at some point in time, we have to consider the fact that these kids, it's going to be hard for them to get development when they're going to several different schools. I've gone on this tangent before, but it's going to eventually impact the league, which will in turn impact viewership in the league. And that's probably when change will come. But, you know, not that TJ Finley's going to go be an NFL quarterback, but would he have developed better as a quarterback if he would have stayed at Auburn? Probably. He's on what, his seventh school? It's frustrating. No, absolutely not. No. I can't name an Alabama quarterback outside of Jalen Hurts that left that is doing fine right now. Yeah, I think they're going to pay for it. I think there's going to be a lot of off-season hype for LSU, and it's understandable. They're excited that they went and had a portal master class, and you bring in Lane Kiffin, but I think overall they're going to struggle. Look, man, Alabama they're not paying $10 million for anybody, brother. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. He might. He might. But was he really a Bama guy? What was he enrolled and on campus for like 2 weeks? Like, is he really a Bama guy? You know, I mean, technically, he's an Ohio State kid. You know, like, I don't think you can count him in that sense. So college football is totally different now. You never know when the development and chemistry is going to mesh. Every year is a crapshoot to an extent. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. If you watched Indiana 2 years ago, they were good. Indiana was very good. Going into the season, though, nobody expected them to be as good as they were all season long, right? And it's almost, I don't want to call it lightning in a bottle because I think Indiana, as long as Signetti's there, is going to be solid. Are they going to win a national title every year or make the playoff every year? No. But are they going to be a solid football team? Probably. So it's not necessarily lightning in a bottle, but you're right. You don't know when it's going to mesh. That's a big component of this. It's a big variable that we don't talk about is, you know, going and building a roster. LSU, right? They went and built Texas. They're going to building these big rosters out of the transfer portal, paying a lot of money for these kids. Money changes people, man. It changes your work ethic. There's a lot of people that when they get a tax return, $2,000, they call out of work the next day, right? A lot of people do that. You'd be surprised. Why do they do that? Well, because they got a little bit of change in their pocket and now they're better than work. That happens at this level too, man. And I think we've seen that a little bit at Alabama. But it's really hard to build a portal team because of that reason. You got to get buy-in from guys. And what Jay was talking about with Xavier, that brotherhood, that galvanization is very, very important for a team. Recruit, develop, retain. Agreed. Let's go back. Yeah, and that's why it's such a big deal when an Alabama recruit kind of leaves, because back in the day, or not recruit, but a player leaves to the transfer portal. Back in the day, it was probably a 4 or 5 star. That's slowly changing to where that's not the case. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Most of the time, you're not getting some kind of superstar out of the portal, and so. Certainly did. Just reading your comments, guys. All right, we're at an hour. Let me apologize again, man. I'm really sorry that Avrian didn't show up. I don't know what happened. Sent him a message, kind of trying to figure it out. But again, I know I've said it a couple of times. I definitely want to encourage you guys to, if you have a favorite streamer or podcaster who's doing videos, just make it an effort over the next couple of weeks to engage with their content. YouTube's been really rough on Alabama content creators right now. I don't care who it is. I know there's a lot. You got a lot to choose from, but yeah, definitely help them out, man. Share all that kind of stuff. So, congratulations again to Nick and Rammer Jammer Alex winning the Ball Knower of the Week and Viewer of the Week. I hope you guys are good. Hope that you have a great week. Like I said, I will be basically on vacation the next couple of days, but I'll still be doing shorts. So, agent, you're going to get those notifications. You're welcome. But we do have some videos already pre-recorded and published and scheduled, waiting to go up for you. Good stuff. We got one. I'll just go and tell you guys. We got one discussing Devin Tompkins and his potential role at Alabama and how he could be used as a versatile player, maybe in a couple of different roles. We've got one breaking down Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, of course. We've got one about EJ Crowell. A couple more. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but be sure you make sure you watch them. And again, if you're new here, I apologize for the issues tonight with Avrian not showing up, but please go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We will have plenty more recruiting interviews coming up for all of you over the next few months as we get closer to A-Day. We will be at A-Day this year. I don't care if it's a game or an event. I'm leaning towards probably an event because they didn't call it A-Day game. But we will be there, so make sure you're locked in with us. If you're going to show up, come tap me on the shoulder and I'll hug your neck or something. I don't know. Or I'll let Dale do whatever it is he does. Anyway, all right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the night, get some rest. I love each and every one of you. Please be blessed. Please, just have a good weekend. Sorry, I'm just trying to click on something. I need Jeff. I'm telling you, I need my producer. Hope that each one of you are fine, and just thank you for your continued support. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.